Hi folks, it's me Gambit896 and I'm back with another video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing X-Men Legacy, Volume 1, Prodigal. The series is written by Simon Spurrier, and on this first volume we have Tang Eng Huat, hope I'm pronouncing that right, H-U-A-T, on the first 3 issues doing the artwork. And we also have George Molina on issues 4 through 6, again doing the art duties. On the inks we have Craig Yang, Norman Lee, and Walden Wong, and on the colouring we have Jose Villarrubia and Rachel Rosenberg. And this first volume collects issues 1 through 6 of the X-Men Legacy series, which is published by Marvel under their Marvel Now initiative. So the story starts out with our main character of Legion, aka David Haller, who is also the son of the late Charles Xavier, who is undergoing psyche training with a psychic individual by the name of Mirza the Mystic. And here we have our first shot of Legion, as you can see there. And we find out that Legion is undergoing psyche training because Legion is a very, very powerful mutant and also one of the most unstable mutants in the world, as he's an Omega level power mutant, and he's so powerful that all of the various different powers that he can call on have all manifested in his psyche into multiple personalities. And so this complex, which you see here, which is the Cortex complex, is essentially a prison that Legion has created within his own mind and within his own psyche in order to keep all of his different multiple personalities in check. But this requires a great deal of concentration and patience on the part of Legion, because even if one of these personalities gets out and takes control over his body, then disaster tends to strike. And unfortunately for Legion, at the end of issue 1, disaster does strike, which forces him to strike out on his own and seek help from his late father's students, which are the X-Men. And so on the way to seeking help from the X-Men, he's contacted psychically by these 2 children in Japan, who are held by a criminal gang of Yakuza members. So he decides to travel to Japan and to essentially free these kids from being held by this Yakuza gang, as you can see there and there. And so Legion, or David, does eventually free the kids from the captivity of the Yakuza clan, but inadvertently this leads to a confrontation between Legion and the X-Men, as you can see there. Also, the original series covers for this series are absolutely fantastic. Here's a really cool example with issue number 4, as you can see there. And I'll show you my second most favourite cover and my absolute favourite within these first 6 issues a bit later. The original series covers are done by Mike Del Mondo. And so we have a confrontation between Legion and the X-Men, and there's some really cool character moments and character dialogue exchanges between the X-Men and David. For example, David's feelings towards the the X-Men's costumes, where he says, "I forgot how blankety blank, because it's a naughty word, ridiculous you people look," which I thought was really funny. There's also a really great dialogue exchange between Legion and Wolverine, where Legion essentially catches Logan off his guard and essentially kicks Wolverine's ass, as you can see there. And then to add insult to injury, as Legion is walking away with the kids, he says the moral of this story is don't blankety blank again, because it's a naughty word, don't with me, essentially. So I thought that was a really cool character defining moment for the character of Legion. I have to say the writing in this by Simon Spurrier is really good and really solid. He writes a really engaging and compelling story, while also making the character of Legion a really cool and also a really equally compelling character to read about. Here we see a really cool example of Legion using one of his various different powers at his disposal to take down Storm, as you can see there. And there's also another really cool shot of him using a completely different set of powers to take down another member of the X-Men, as you can see there. We also have the start of a really weird relationship between David and Ruth Aldine, or Blindfold, as you can see there, with them sharing a really weird and psychedelic psyche kiss, as you can see there. Admittedly, some parts of this book are really, really weird and psychedelic, but they're also really, really fun in a really strange way. Over the course of this first 6 issues, we see Legion is really struggling with his inner demons in terms of his powers, and also trying to figure out what his father's legacy means to him and how he wants to go about fulfilling it. But towards the end of the first 6 issues, we really see Legion come into his own, especially with gaining control of his powers. This is the second of my favourite covers, done by Mike Del Mundo. As you can see, there is Legion in the prisoner guard uniform, keeping a watchful eye on his powers or his multiple personalities. And then my absolute favourite cover is cover to issue number 6, as you can see there. There's a really, really cool surprising story reveal at the end of issue number 5, which I didn't see coming, but this leads to a great confrontation between Legion and his enemy, as you can see there. There's also, again, some really great character moments in Legion's inner monologue, where he's saying, ashamed, your father would be ashamed of you, in terms of how Legion was acting towards his students of the X-Men. And at the end of issue number 6, there's a WTH moment on the very last page where it's really weird and really like, wow, what the hell is going on? But at the same time, I'm really, really interested to see where this story and the series goes in general. Admittedly, like I said, this series might not be for everybody in terms of the story or the artwork. Personally, I think the artwork is really, really good and really interesting and quirky, but it might not be aesthetically pleasing to everybody. Like I said, the writing in this by Simon Spurrier is really good and really solid, with the equally on par artwork from Tang Eng Huat and George Molina. But like I said, the series isn't for everybody, but at the same time, I definitely think this is one of the more underrated Marvel Now books under the Marvel Now initiative. If I had to give this first volume of X-Men Legacy a rating, I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. As always, feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section. If you're new to my channel and you'd like to see more of my videos, please feel free to subscribe. But just quickly, like I always say, if you thumbs down the video, feel free to tell me why in the comment section below, or send me a private message. And with that, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.